Hey Starlings, Vanessa Montgomery here with your weekly stars via Glamour Magazine. These go from April 28 to May 4, 2024. I set them to New York time and date. So I'm Vanessa Montgomery from Astro, All-Starz. This is your glamour.com horoscope. You can find them under the hub It's Cosmic on glamour.com. So let's see what your stars have in store for you this week. This is the headlines. This is my hot take on the headlines. So Venus moseys on into the sign of Taurus from Monday. So desire, love and beauty align with sensuality and practicality, form and function. Invest in quality and long term, whether it's a bay or an artisanal sourdough. Mars, the planet of action and energy, is rapid-fire assertive, beelining for a single-pointed goal. So that's your memo to follow through to. Go slow and appreciate the gifts of life and draw a line from where you are now to where you want to be. Then take the most direct approach. You can do both this month, and you can find me at Astro All-Starz with a Z.com. So let's have a quick chat about those headlines. So Venus is ruled by Taurus, so it's in sign. Mars is ruled by Aries, so it's also in sign. When planets are in a sign they rule, they are in their own home. They're in their own lane. They're comfortable. They know where everything is, and they know how to do things directly. They know how to achieve their purpose because Taurus is aligned with Venusian values, if you know what I mean. And Mars is aligned with Aries action. Aries is direct. Mars functions well being direct. Aries is assertive. Mars is about being assertive. That's why they're in their rulership. So I think it's interesting because they're both so different in a way. So Venus is about what you love. It represents what you love, your desire, relationship styles, values as well. What's your friending style? Whereas Mars is how you do things, a planet of action, force. It can be brutality as the pitfall. Venus can be as a pitfall, perhaps in self-indulgence, too much Venus, too much Mars, not enough Venus, not enough Mars. So you want these things balanced. And of course, wherever Taurus is in your chart is where Venus is transiting through this month, and wherever Aries is where Mars is transiting through this month. So it is personal, but you can look at mundane astrology. So there's natal astrology, and that's all about you and where these planets are transiting and landing in your chart, how they aspect the signs and planets in signs, say your rising point. There's points as well in the chart. Whereas if you look at the world at large, we are all under the same sort of cosmic influence, if you want to say, or it aligns with. So that's called mundane astrology, and it's such a boring name, I know, but it's mundane astrology. So that's what we talk about when we're all talking about this one-size-fits-all situation. You know, what's the vibe with Mars? Where's action at? We're all under a bit of a Marsy Aries influence at the moment. And if you have planets in Aries, you're going to have that Mars whipping you into shape in wherever those planets are in your chart. So it's just gone in from Pisces, and personally I have Mars in Pisces, so I don't want to malign it too much. Every position and placement has its potential and its lane. But I have to say I was looking forward to this shift as much as I was looking forward to my own Mars return. Mars returns in Pisces for me personally. Mars return to Aries, because I also have Moon in Aries, and I was at the end feeling like a bit of a wet rag, and I've got a lot of planets in fire, so it's very unusual I flip into that one planet in water, and when I do, I really know it, like the pitfall side of it, the wet rag side. I'm a very buoyant Sagittarius. Aries Moon, I do get back up again, but sometimes I get a little knocked down, and I did get knocked down as a bit of backwash to that Scorpio full moon. How about you? It was T-square Pluto, its own ruler, just to make it more extreme. So now we're in Aries. I feel like it's really lifted me back up. The energy has shifted, and let's go with it. Let's take action. I find myself saying, you know, let's look at what happened under these skies and let's move forward. What's the approach? What's my approach? Can we do this together? And let's go. So get traction on your goals, whatever that goal is. Maybe just choose one major goal. Get a strategy. Mars in Aries is probably not very strategic, and it is best used just to push ahead on one major thing. Think of a race car. It's not going to stop and tinker away, is it? You just set it towards the flag and you go. So Venus, there are parts where you do go slow. I'm doing my sprouting, fermenting, all those things, and absolutely loving it. That's Taurus, earthy things. Venus, what do you love? What do you love to do? Take it slow. Have people over for soiree. Sit around, don't take it too fast. But when you've got that goal, just go for it. Also being assertive. And it's interesting that there's so much, just let's look at the geopolitical situation. There's a lot of clashing, and there has been, and there's other influences, but with that Mars in Aries, people are going to get up and fight. Mars is the goddess / god, the deity, let's say, for a neutral approach, the deity of war. And I think it's interesting, in ancient Greece they called it Ares, and there's a great big sculpture as well where Ares was kind of small, and at the end Ares wasn't invited. Ares wasn't really worshipped, because when Ares comes to town, Aries, Mars, it's or maybe it was actually a Mars thing, but there's trouble. You've got a troublemaker there, so you need to have that Mars set towards a goal. And I think that those clashes, depending on what Mars is doing in the sky, if it's squaring things, what's going on, could be peaks and troughs in those confrontations. Very confrontational sign. It's a fighter. It takes action. Doesn't just talk about it. So Mars in an air sign might be a great diplomat or get ideas across assertively. But Mars in Aries takes action. It's a real firebrand. It's probably a good way to put it. So, but we are in Taurus season. I'm looking very Taurusy, aren't I? Taurus. This is actually a beautiful Gautier tie I bought probably before some of my viewers were born, over 20 years ago, in Paris. I think it was over 20 years. I'll have to find out when that was. Rust coloured, and Gautier, the French designer, is a Taurus. I've got Taurus rising. I love it. So look at these trees behind me. This is my new deck. I've moved to Brisbane, and I'm quite in a city actually, but this place is really green. So I'm being a green machine while I'm here for 6 months to a year. So you'll see much more of me on this deck. Anyway, head over to read your stars for the week. I'm about to write next week's actually, and just do a little bit more chatting on here. Perhaps, maybe, we'll see. Enjoy your week and stay cosmic.